What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we have pure Cyber Dragons. So we're going to get right on into this one pretty fast. Obviously, if you guys didn't see it before and you want your 3D Field Center, use the link in the description below. Get a hold of Nathan. We're going to get a lot of business for him and make it to the point where he's got to like quit his job because he just makes these things and they turn out so nice. And honestly, the pictures I've posted, they don't do it justice. In person, this thing is just gorgeous. I even got mine, customized with the whole Team Set Pass, so that's really cool if you guys can actually see it. Try and find the camera there. Nerd Night Gaming, come join the Facebook group, play in some really great tournaments. We have cards for pretty cheap, guys. Like, you can win an access code talker or something like of that caliber for less than $10 sometimes. Like, come check it out. Link in the description below. Been a while since we used this playmat. I have that link in the description below, and feel free to check out our friends at Grove Reacting Gaming, sorry guys, for some other really great Cyber Dragon playmats, Dinosaur playmats, Invoke Shaddoll playmats, all kinds of good stuff. You guessed it, link in the description below. But the reason you're here, the reason that you're watching, we are going to play Cyber Dragons in a pure sense. Anyone who knows me pretty much at this point knows that I do play one Cyber Dragon. I really like it, especially with the addition of Dragoon. Okay, so guys, this is pure with Dragoon. Some of you yelled at me for calling it pure, and some of you yelled at me for calling it Cyber Dragoon before that. So now we're going to call it pure Cyber Dragon with Dragoon. So we are playing it. Don't get too upset once it comes out. But one Cyber Dragon. Dragoon really just helps push the deck going first and second. I've seen people say they side it, things like that, but I don't get why you would side it. It's just really good going first. Some people randomly, especially like dinos right now, make you go first a lot of the time. And additionally, it's just really, really good, guys. Going second, you bait their negates, you still make a Verde. Then you pop 2 cards burn, and sometimes you can attack for game all off a Dragoon. So it's crazy. It's strong. It's really, really good. Making the deck a little more consistent and fitting in more hand traps and other tech cards for the meta. That's why we play one Cyber Dragon. Then we go ahead and play triple Cyber Dragon Core. It is our starter, it is our searcher, it is our Mr. Do-It-All. Graveyard effect comes up so clutch and key in big games, so we do play 3 Cyber Dragon Core. 3 Cyber Dragon Hers, because it's the best extender in the deck, hands down. Not only can it get us our core back, it can get us our Naxter back. It combos off with Galaxy Soldier. Getting our Cyber Dragon, you can use your chain blocking with it, depending on what hand trap you may or may not think your opponent has, things like that. So let's go ahead now and get on to the next one. 2 Cyber Dragon Naxter. And guys, this card's just really good. I've seen people say you only play 1. I've seen people play 3. If you're playing dupe, I do like playing 3 because I want to max out on my dupe targets. Without dupe, even with dupe, I do really like 2 as well, because it comes up, you're going to need at least 1, guys. And 2 really does come up. It helps in the grind game. And a lot of the people I've seen say, oh, you only want 1 because you don't want to open it, you don't want to see it, you want to summon it off of Core's Graveyard effect. A lot of the time, the people I see saying to play 1 are some of the same people I see saying the deck has no grind game. 2 Naxters, it helps in the grind game, guys, so that's why we do like to play them that way. And then 1 Cyber Dragon Fear. I know it's pretty much a 0 or a 1-up. I still like it, and I get the argument of chain blocking your core, they're just going to negate whatever you search off your core, and that is a solid argument, but it's also a free body for your Verte. It's a free body to help go for your OTKs depending on your hand. Like, it's just really good, guys. It's a free body, it's a free level for overflow, and yes, it does chain block. And say they have like an Appaloosa and you want your effect, you can normal your core, chain your fear. They have to negate the fear if anything. You're getting your core search and you're cleared that Appaloosa with one of your Cyber Dragons. So that's it for our Cyber Dragons. We are playing the 10. Then the honorary, we play triple Galaxy Soldier, second best extender in the deck. It doesn't get core back to our hands, so that's why hers is better. But otherwise, Galaxy Soldier, really strong, easy to get out. It discards lights, which is the majority of our deck. Level 5 light machine, like you guys know the drill already. I like 3, especially without dupe. I really like 3. With it, we can talk on 2. 1 Kaiju and 1 Pankratops as some of our removal cards for the format. So obviously, removal cards and power going second cards aren't as good right now as they were a little while ago, because decks like Dragon Link and Inferno was abusing cards like Smoke Grenade and Psy-Frame Lord Omega, especially Smoke Grenade, because they look at your hand. So being able to look at your hand and rip cards out of it means they can take away your power cards, your Dark Ruler No Mores, your Evenly Matched, your Kaijus, your Pankratops, things like that. But I do like these at 1. I mean, Pankratops, we don't really have a choice. But, you know, you get into your Kaiju and you just, it says no to any boss monster, Dragoon, you know, Savage, really anything, unless they have the Buster Lock. I guess I don't even know what I'm talking about, guys. This Buster Lock, it doesn't matter. If they have the Buster Lock, you're free. You just cleared the Buster Lock because of the Kaiju. So completely ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Might as well shut the video off now at that point. So, and then Pankratops, guys. It's a 2600 beater. And say you open your OG Cyber Dragon, you just special Cyber Dragon first, and then special summon Pankratops if they have 2 monsters. Otherwise, if they only have 1 monster, 100% of the time special summon Pankratops and don't worry about it. You can pop a card, pop one of their cards, and if you pop a tobacco card, now you special summon your Cyber Dragon. They don't conflict at all. It's another form of disruption. It's a big beater. It's a body. It helps play when you get Buster locked, get a body on board, things like that. Like, it's just really good, guys. There's a reason it's at 1. Then, since we are playing Dragoon, we do need to play our Red Eyes and our Dark Magician. We might have to find a different Red Eyes art to use, because I really don't like using expensive cards, like triple figure cards in my deck, because I don't trust opponents shuffling it. Luckily, not really an issue right now, but even just myself, I don't like damaging them. So we might end up pulling that out for like a starter deck, Dark Magician, or Red Eyes, in which case we'll go starter deck Yugi Dark Magician as well. But for now, we're going to leave in this bad boy because I paid a very cheap price for him, and it's not my fault that he's like, again, $120 now. It's crazy. People are like ridiculous. COVID buyouts, stuff like that. It's insane. I won't spend that much on cards. I pull most mine or buy them cheap, trade for them, things like that. Anyway, Cyber Emergency, Rhoda for the deck. You know, you're playing 3. There's really nothing to say about it. You're playing 3. We went to play 2 Repair Plants because I guess it's just nice to have the search. Between Emergency and Repair Plant and Core, like, we have so much searching in the deck. It's crazy. It's really good. Needing the Cyber Dragon in Graveyard does kind of, you know, come up, but realistically that's not gonna happen too often where you don't have it. But yes, it will like happen once in a while, but I mean, it happens once in a while at 1 copy too, so it's just one of those things you got to deal with. And I get 3 Galaxy Soldier, 2 Repair Plant. You're going to have a little more hands that are like that, but we're also not playing Machine Dupe, and with 3 Soldier, 2 Repair Plant, I've had less dead hands, or less of them dead in my hand than I have, you know, a Machine Dupe dead where I couldn't use it in a game. And by that I don't mean opening it, because that's when it's like the least bricky. It's as the game goes on, and discussions for another time because we're not going to get too into it. But I haven't had any issues with 3 Soldier, 2 Repair Plant. 1 Cyber Rev System, I put the card back in because it makes, like, if you open it and they negate your Core, you can link it off, revive Core, and then you have your Verde still. It makes Core into a 1-card Dragoon because you just search it and then you make your Verde. Just playing through negates and making Verde is really the main reason we played it. You could just play Monster Reborn instead, but then you have to open it, whereas this, you can search it. And say you search your, or you special summon Naxter off your Rev System, you can revise something else, and you just go +1 for free, which is always a good thing, especially if you start to get down into that grind game. 1 Overload Fusion, because when we want to push for game, push for OTKs, things like that. But 99% of the time, you want your Red Eyes Fusion to go for your Dragoon. Not only does it often deal more damage, it's just can't be targeted, can't be destroyed, negates, pops cards, burns damage. Like, it does so much more. And you don't have to clear out your graveyard to affect your overflow, but that's not really a big issue because that's assuming you have both. And if you summon Rampage successfully, you can just mill 2 cards to replace it. But I do still like it, especially like grind game or even opening it. It's pretty good because, well, you open it, now you can just use it like after your opponent starts negating your stuff. And Rampage is always really nice because you can get back core to your hand by milling like a Hers and core, or Hers and Naxter, get Naxter back. Things like that. One Harpy's Feather Duster, because we can only play one, but back row is really the bane of the deck's existence, and that's why we want to play Feather Duster. There's not too much for back row that's being main decked right now. I mean, you know, dinosaurs have their Lost World that you want to clear out as soon as you can, but like there's not too much that worries me in the top few decks to main too much back row removal. I would recommend siding it if you can't afford Lightning Storms. You know, your Twin Twisters, your Cosmic Cyclones, because Eldritch isn't as popular, so Twisters might be a little bit better now. Otherwise, like your Evenly Matched is good removal, things like that. Like I side most of my back row removal, but we do play double Overflow, which also helps as removal. So non-targeting, no cost, broken, searches when it gets popped. It's really crazy. I would absolutely never cut that card. And that leaves us a handful of spots left, which we play our hand traps in. So we're playing Triple Draw Lockbird. It hits Dragon Link really, really hard. Dinosaur, depending on their hand, it hits them pretty hard. You know, and there's going to be times where it just depends what you open. Like, I actually just played in a tournament using Synchro Cyber, and they drolled me. I used Emergency, and he drolled me. So that hurt because I was trying to like bait a possible Ash before I normaled my core and go off. But anyway, he drolls me, and I still made double Arclight Dragoon through the droll. So I mean, it's like depends on what their hand is for like dinos, because they're similar to that, the way that deck functions, and that if they already opened, you know, their Oviraptor gets their search off, but if they already have like Miss and Baby in hand, they don't need anything else like to search. They already got it all. So Dino's not necessarily the greatest, but it's also not really bad. I do usually side it out for like my Lancias and Chaos Hunters, just because they do have a lot of ways to play around Droll. Nibiru, I guess other top matchups. Invoke Dogmatica, Droll is just MVP verse, and Infernobles, kind of like dinosaurs, it's really dependent on their hand. You're going to hinder their play, but it might not stop their play. Nibiru, dinosaurs not too effective because they're going to get to miss way before they get 5 summons. So, well, you know, miss kind of just says no to the rock, so we side that out versus dinos. But otherwise, you know, it's useful in not necessarily, again, stopping a turn versus these top decks because they're just so resilient and push through so much, but it's really good at hindering their board and making it easy to overcome. Bringing us to Gamma and Impermanence, which pair up really, really nicely with our Nibiru. Because if you open both, you can let them like completely start going off and comboing. Wait till they get to the point of no return where once you drop the rock on them, they're done. They lost. They have no recovery. They burnt through their extra deck, and they have a negate on board. So of course they're going to negate your rock. That's where Gamma or Impermanence come in, and you negate their negate, and then you get to rock them anyway. Obviously, if they have, say, Arclight on the field and you have Impermanence, you have to drop Impermanence first to negate the Arclight, and then you drop the rock. So if you drop the rock, they tribute and negate it, and now you can't Impermanence it, and you just misplayed. So keep that in mind. But these are the hand traps we run because I feel like they hit the top 4 decks pretty hard, and they pair up well and good together. Dead Gammas in hand, opening driver, they're lights. Dead Nibirus, they're lights. So even in matchups you want to side like Nibiru out, at least you can discard it for your Naxter or your Soldier game 1, so it's not just a card that sits in your hand and you can't do anything with. So at least it has a niche use. Let's get into the extra deck. We play 1 Mega Fleet, 1 Fortress, and 1 Rampage for our Chimera techs. Haven't had the need to play more than 1 Mega Fleet recently. Fortress, we're playing Kaiju, so it's an easy way to out it. Lots of decks like going to Makaba, lots of decks, Invoke decks, you know, which Invoke Dogmatica is one of the better decks of the format. I personally love playing it. Check out our deck profile if you haven't already on the channel. But getting rid of like a Makaba or any machine-based strategy, we also play Makaba because Invoke Maximus is, well, that's why we play Makaba, because we send a Nova and we get a free negate off of it, and then we say thank you, they shake our hand, and it's good game. 1 Red Eyes Dark Dragoon because it is absolutely broken. We already said it a few times, like, not much more to say. 2 Nova and 2 Infinity. Oh my goodness, I have not played 2 and 2 in a long time. Even my most recent pure list, I just played 2 Nova to use 1 to send for Maximus, but I don't know, a few times it came up where I kind of had that extra spot and I could just put like another utility card in it, but there's been a few times where I was playing and it's like, oh, I could make another Infinity here. Not necessarily need to or really want to, but I could, and I didn't really have any other line of play, so my utility cards weren't coming up hardly at all, like Nightmare Phoenix, so we actually cut it and put in our second Infinity instead because it would have came up. Then we also play Draco Berserker the Tenyi. So say they ash your emergency, like to start your play, and you gamma it. Now you can, make him at least as one option. Going second, especially like when you banish your core from the graveyard, that effect gets negated all the time. And then you gamma them, and then you go into your Berserker. Otherwise, we also have Cyframe Lord Omega. Going first, I mean, you can make him too, because when they activate a monster effect, you just banish it. But yeah, so, I mean, it's a free disruption. But Omega, we actually play, it's the Spice versus Maximus. So we send a Nova to get our Makaba. Then we also send Omega, because if they're using Maximus, they're going for the window play 9 times out of 10. And then you can actually return Omega and the Shadal Al Capone to the extra deck, and now they don't have a Shadal target in their graveyard. So unless they're actually playing a bigger engine and have a card in their hand, which most don't, they won't be able to make Winda, because we could send in Tis and like pop Maximus, but Maximus being on the field is a way less concern of mine than a Winda. So I'd much rather stop a Winda than pop a Maximus. Links, we have 1 Almirage consistency card. That's all it is, really. Like, by really, I mean at all. We need a Cyber Link 1, period. A searcher. Make core a 1-card Infinity, and that's all I ask. 1 Relinquished Anima, because it's just good removal, non-destruction. We have enough level 1s in the deck that we can have easy access to. 1 Seeger, OTKs. Running over a Dragoon, once you bait the negate, it goes to 4k. Put out 2, make Seeger, go to 42, and just attack over Dragoon. And 1 Verte Anaconda. So, yeah, if you want to play 2 Anaconda, I've played builds like that too, especially with Overload and Red Eyes Fusion, and it works out pretty good. But I'd say playing 1 is mandatory. So, hopefully you guys liked the video, and I explained everything well enough. If you still have questions, don't hesitate to ask us down below. Leave a like, leave a comment, share with your friends, subscribe. We got some giveaways planned that we'll get to here in a video shortly, so make sure you stick around for them. And until next time, guys, take care.